Hello and welcome to Capture. I'm Jessie Gomez. This past week, APU senior journalism major Hunter Foote was invited to the White House to participate in the Champions of Change event. The Capture team caught up with Hunter to find out more about her experience. The Champions for Change event was held this past Thursday at the White House and celebrated 12 champions who are ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Essentially, Obama was going to address the crowd there, and they were going to honor these champions for labor rights, for working families, especially working women. And so I was invited there for Laurel Magazine, which is my media company magazine that I am working on right now.
Senior journalism major and founder of Laurel Magazine, Hunter Foote was invited to attend the event and form part of the press as this week's conversation focused on working families.
On Monday, I was contacted by the White House, a White House intern more specifically.
The theme of the event featured Working Families for Change and started off with Senior Advisor to the President, Valerie Jarrett, talking about the issue. Followed by Jarrett, Secretary of Labor Thomas Perez addressed the crowd.
President Obama came out and addressed the crowd, and it was so cool to see the energy of the crowd and all that, those kind of things.
Following the event, Foote and the rest of the press team was invited to a roundtable interview with Senior Advisor Valerie Jarrett.
And so we got to introduce ourselves and our media company or our blog and ask one question.
Champions for Change will continue to honor and identify local leaders who are taking action in their areas of work and community.
I got to go to the West Wing. It was awesome. I was right next to the Oval Office when Obama was in the Oval Office. And to be honest, I totally geeked out.
If you want to know more about Champions of Change, go to whitehouse.gov/champions. APU's Dr. Leslie Wickman, a research scientist and former astronaut, released her book, God of the Big Bang, on April 14th. The faith-affirming book, which is now on Amazon's bestsellers list in the science and religion category, explores the complex relationship of creation, science, and scripture, proving that they can all coexist. Capture sat down with Dr. Wickman to find her source of inspiration and what she hopes readers will get out of her book.
I realized that growing up in a Christian home and coming to faith at an early age, I was hearing something different at church than I was learning at school in my science classes. And so there seemed to be this kind of disconnect between science and faith. And so because of my interest in science, I was really interested in how to reconcile the two areas. Because if God was who he claimed to be as the creator of everything I was studying, then it didn't seem logical that the truth about God could contradict the truth about his creation. That science and faith are not in competition with each other, and that you can be a successful scientist as well as a faithful Christian, and that science is a tool that we can use to uncover the wonders of creation.
God of the Big Bang is available for purchase on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble stores. APU hosted a special event entitled Cross Training, a Night of Faith and Sports on Sunday. The event was hosted by ESPN anchor Chris Broussard. Also at the event were Clayton Kershaw and AJ Ellis of the Los Angeles Dodgers, alongside Geisy Jardez of the LA Galaxy. The night featured in-depth discussion on being a person of faith as a professional athlete, in addition to a meet and greet with some of the fans. Now let's turn to Capture's Aubrey Berry for sports.
Thanks, Jessie. A handful of Azusa Pacific athletes are preparing for opportunities to continue their career at the next level. Capture reporter Katie Richcreek had a chance to speak with a few.
Several Azusa Pacific athletes have the opportunity to continue their careers professionally. All-American running back Terrell Watson is headlining the group, looking at a potential career in the NFL. His pro day performance in March compared well with combine results of top prospects, and his preparation continues for the draft, which begins April 30th.
Preparation is just, I'm training at Stars in Anaheim, where we first were just training on combine stuff and make sure I'm a good tester. And then now since my pro day's over and all that craziness is done, now it's just working out to become a football player.
Watson met with the Cincinnati Bengals last week and has upcoming meetings scheduled with the Houston Texans and Atlanta Falcons. Another Cougar with professional ambitions is Troy Leaf. The All-American guard is looking to play abroad in Western Europe. He is currently deciding on an agent to sign with and has focused his training to match European play.
So I've taped, I don't know if anyone's seen the upstairs courts, taped the European three-point line upstairs just to kind of get a feel for that. I mean, my body's so used to shooting on the same line for the last 5 years of my life, so it's kind of developing a different mindset and shooting the ball a little bit deeper.
Leaf's father played professionally in Israel from 1993 to 1999.
You know, as a kid, seeing him play at such a high level in Europe was something that kind of drove me to be better, and so I'm just hoping that one day I get to play on that big of a stage.
Ace pitcher Josh Staumont has received heavy attention from MLB scouts with his 90-plus mile-per-hour fastball.
Obviously, you need the attention to get picked up in the first place, but at the very end of the day, it doesn't really matter what they do off the field and what the attention they give me. It's not going to change anything that I do on the field, especially considering that I'm not going to try any harder to impress them than I would for my team to win.
His focus remains on the season. However, the upcoming draft is on his radar.
And hopefully we can make it to the playoffs, but if not, then the draft is the 8th through the 10th of June, and that's kind of the next step in this whole thing.
Best of luck to these three athletes with their professional endeavors. 2,400 track and field athletes from across the country competed in the Brian Clay Invitational hosted at Cougar Stadium last Friday. The 16-hour day began with the first event at 7:30 a.m. and ran into the final event at 10:45 p.m. Competitors broke 11 meet records and 3 stadium records, including APU's Allison Updike in the women's javelin with a toss of 168 feet 7 inches. She now holds the second best mark in NCAA Division II this year. That's all for sports this week. Jesse, back to you.
Thanks, Aubrey. And now in U.S. and world news, we start with a story that has been captivating the nation due to its gruesome nature. A Utah mother was sentenced Monday to 30 years in prison after admitting to the murders of her 6 children. Each infant was believed to have been strangled directly following a home birth. The murders took place over the course of 10 years from 1996 to 2006. The infants' bodies were found by their father in the home's garage wrapped in shirts and hidden in separate cardboard boxes. Many around the globe are coming together to remember the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. On April 24, 1915, leading officials in Armenia were arrested and forced to leave their native country. Over 1 million Armenians were killed at the hands of neighboring country, Turkey. News outlets such as BBC and CNN have shown Armenians all around the world rallying together to bring recognition to the genocide, one that many are still unaware of to this day. Republicans Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and Marco Rubio have announced their candidacy for the 2016 presidential election. According to Politico magazine, Jeb Bush, Mike Huckabee, and Chris Christie are a few of the other Republican hopefuls looking to announce soon. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is the first and only candidate to announce. The election comes in November of 2016, giving plenty of time for further developments. And now to wrap up today's show, our friends from the Claus and Collide decided to take a humorous look at One Stop's latest announcement to the student body.
Live from the Situation Room at APU, a breaking news story is hitting APU inboxes everywhere. Katie?
Thanks, Katie. One Stop has sent out an email this afternoon. They have a new phone number. It's shocking, I know.
Indeed they do, and the tweets have been pouring in. Let's see what we've got so far. First off, from Joshua Reese Hopper, he says, out of the many emails we receive daily from One Stop, the news that they now have a phone number is by far the most exhilarating.
Also from Joshua, look how far technology has taken One Stop. A phone number? Wow! What's next? An email address?
Maybe, Joshua, maybe. Let's see what else. Need some help deciding where to eat on campus? Call One Stop.
Alone and bored on a Friday evening? Call One Stop.
Still looking for that ring by spring? You know what to do. Call One Stop.
And that does it for this show and for the school year. We want to thank all of you who have been tuning in and ask that you continue to spread the word about Capture on campus. Have a safe, happy summer, and we will see you in the fall.